Okay. Am I on now? Yes! I have the power. I have all the power. I am the Reverend Monica Jacobson. I use she, her pronouns. I serve this congregation as minister, and I promise I am not power tripping in worship this morning. I just want to be sure you can hear me. Leading worship with me today are Jason Holt as our celebrant. Our Director of Religious Education, Molly Brown, is going to tell our story. Annie Minden and Avery Jocelyn are going to do a special dance performance for us. Joan Stembridge is our Lifelines lay minister. Lori Ann Schmidt is at the piano. Jeff Minden is at the tech table. And Doc Hadley made our slides. It takes many hands to create worship every week. And we are blessed to have many people who come together to co-create these services. We gather this morning as a community of seekers, all of us carrying questions, searching for wisdom and inspiration to help us live lives of meaning in a world that needs people who live intentionally and try to create more good by their living. You are welcome here this morning exactly as you are, with whatever beliefs sustain you, honoring whomever you love, and in all the ways you understand and express your identities and are still becoming the person you will be. Who you are is a gift to us all. And now will you join with me in taking a good deep breath? Feel the air come in and fill your body. Feel it go out. Know that you are here in this time, in this place. And being here means you are not anywhere else. So whatever dishes are in your sink, they're okay. Whatever weeds are flourishing in your garden, they can wait for an hour. Whatever is happening on the news can certainly wait for an hour. And I know there's always something happening on the news. Because we have gathered together to share this time, to ground ourselves, to center ourselves, to nourish and restore ourselves. So come, let us worship together. Please rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our gathering hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. If you'd like it in a hymnal, it's in the gray book, which hopefully is underneath one of the chairs in front of you. It's also on the slides up here.
Please join me as we recite our affirmation together. The words are projected here or printed in your order of service.
Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
And we light the chalice this morning for mothers and mothering to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
And we light also a chalice for our partner congregation in Szymon-Falva, Transylvania, and a lantern to celebrate the ways that this congregation nurtures children and youth among us, and our commitment to the nurturing and flourishing of children and youth everywhere. Please join in singing the flames into life. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. We have a special story to share this morning, and Molly is going to read it for us. It does come from an illustrated book, so we'll have slides up here so everyone can see the pictures. But if you want to see them up close out of the book, you can come up and join Molly up front.
Hello, good morning. Everybody gathering at heart, come join me up front for a story. Or you can stay with your families, that's okay too. Good morning, happy Mother's Day. Hi. Baby. Brayden, I like your haircut. Thank you. Okay, Emily, could you help me hold the story while I read it, please? Stand up. Okay, this story is called, oh, are you coming up? That's okay, yeah, right up here. Right here. Yep, right up here. Oh, that's okay.
It's okay.
Change your mind, that's okay.
You can see and hear this story from anywhere.
Yes, there we go. Welcome. Okay, this story is called The 3 Questions. There once was a boy, hello, named Nikolai, who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my 3 questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia, the heron, spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, you will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin, the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, you can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pet to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. Welcome, friends. Hi. Nikolai thought for a moment. Then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. Good morning. You can join us up front for a story or you can have a seat. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions, but their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I am looking for. Nikolai hiked up into the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions and I came to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging on the doors and windows. The panda woke up. Where am I? She said. And where is my child? The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran farther into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry. Then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning, the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends. He had saved the panda and her child, but he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions, so he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. But your questions have been answered, he said. They have? Asked the boy. Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me. And the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby. And the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. This is why we are here. The end. Okay, happy Mother's Day to everybody. We are going to have some muffins and pastries. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have some pastries for you guys after in the fellowship hall, so I hope to see you there. If we can stand up in the center and create the love arch, we will be on our way. Thank you.
Wherever you go, go in love. Wherever you go, go in peace. Wherever you go, go in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you. Wherever you go, go in love. Wherever you go, go in peace. Wherever you go, go in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you ever re-gifted something? There are a couple of reasons to re-gift. We're all familiar with the well-meaning or clueless individual that's just bad at giving gifts. This isn't something you want or need or even know what it is. Smile politely, set it aside, the large picture of a pig in a tutu having tea with a badger. This will be wrapped in new paper, set aside in the closet, and given at the next white elephant party. Somebody will appreciate this gift, just not you. I've also found that life, the universe, God, is especially good at giving gifts that are meaningful, impactful, painful. When the economy turned south in 08-09, it was devastating for my finances. I had no idea what I was going to do next. Life was falling apart. There were times that I literally pulled the covers over my head and just said nope to life. Today is not that day. Eventually, those struggles led to my current career path. That's been very meaningful and wonderful, but it was rough to get there. Then there's the broken relationship that forces you to grow up and discover the deeper meaning of life and self. I've been through several of these transitions and lessons that have been gifted to me by the universe. Comfort and complacency just don't lead to Herculean efforts. I can also tell you that these gifts are given after you have successfully and completely ignored the little voice in your head that's telling you the next step that you need to take. The longer you ignore that voice, the more glee the universe finds in forcing it. The thing is, once you finish feeling sorry for yourself and really dig in, learn your lesson, and grow, the more you can appreciate these gifts, painful as they may be. And being the spiritual and giving person that you are, you want to re-gift this lesson to someone else. As you can imagine, most people don't appreciate learning your hard lesson. It turns out these are tailor-made to you and your experience. But there is something that you can share. Here's the powerful, if uncomfortable, study from the 1950s by Johns Hopkins researcher Kurt Richter. He placed rats in water to see how long they could swim before drowning. On average, they lasted about 15 minutes. However, in another group, just before the rats gave up, researchers lifted them out, dried them off, comforted them, gave them care, and then put them back in to see how long they'd survive. But those rats didn't just swim a little bit longer. They swam for nearly 60 hours. That's 2.5 days. 240 times longer than the ones that received no hope, no comfort, no care. I'll admit there is some debate about the exact times, but I think we can all take the point from this. The difference was hope. Once they knew rescue was possible, success was available, they kept going far beyond what seemed physically possible. So, when someone is sinking in grief, doubt, exhaustion, or fear, our encouragement, our presence, our willingness to reach in and say, "I've got you," can become the lifeline that restores hope. And hope changes everything. It turns an "I can't" into "I can keep going." It turns 15 minutes into 60 hours. You can't teach other people your harsh lessons. You have to learn those yourself. But you can love, support, and encourage them as they go through their trials. And in honor of today, I will note that mothers tend to be very good at this kind of support. Now we have an artistic offering. Sit back and enjoy.
We bring our many gifts to this community, including these gifts of dance and artistry. And we also know we always come carrying everything that is in our lives, carrying the joys and the hopes that are lifting us up, carrying sorrows or fear that is weighing us down. So Joan Stembridge is going to come and share with us, as our Lifelines lay minister, some of the joys and sorrows which we know to be present in this community and which we hold together.
Whew. Good morning. That was so beautiful. Okay, good morning. I'm Joan Stembridge, and I'm our Lifelines lay minister, one of them. And we are here to help people in times of need. We can be identified by our lavender stoles and badges. You can reach us by visiting the table in Hanneman Hall each Sunday after the service, or by contacting information in the order of service on the back. Each week when we gather for worship, we share the joys and sorrows of members of this community. We know that joys shared are often magnified as we celebrate together, and sorrows shared may be lightened, and we are reminded that we are not alone. As I read them, we will light a candle to symbolize the truth that is shared and to remind us that what we hold together brings more of the light of understanding and compassion to us all. And we have some joys and sorrows, and we will start with a sorrow from Red Jewel from last week. Continued well wishes and prayers for my friend Joel and his family after the passing of his father. And then we have an anonymous, it's both a joy and a sorrow, and this was written last week also. My wife is leaving a position she has held for 8 years, due in no small part to burnout. We don't know what comes next. I'm proud of her for listening to her heart, glad we have a community to support us, and nervous about the future. And then we have a joy, also from last week, from Asa Crow. Last Sunday marks 3 years. This would be, today is last Sunday. Last Sunday was 3 years of living with my cousin and his spouse. Both of them feel more like my parents at this point, and they both have been supporting me and learning together for me for all this time. About 1.5 years ago, we also got a roommate who feels like my sibling. I am so happy to call them my family. We also have sweet cats. And there's one last, which is joy, from Anonymous, another Anonymous. On Mother's Day, to all those who mother others, to all those who nurture the young, yea, for us all. And one last candle for all the joys and sorrows that are in our hearts, but not spoken. Thank you.
I invite you to join me in this embracing meditation from my friend and colleague, the Reverend Linda Hart. You can get yourself centered in your chair. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can. If you'd like to just let your gaze go unfocused. Whatever posture is best for you. From where have we come? This breath, these fingers, a heart, that opens and closes, opens and closes? What is it that has made this body, feet and legs, hair and teeth? We come into consciousness in the middle of the story. The world and its vast life reaches far before we knew and grasps at the future that we cannot see. And here we are, living these days for better or for worse. Whatever acts of chance occurred to bring us to birth, whatever happenstance laid this particular path for our lives, in these moments of calm and stillness, let our hearts open in gratitude for the gifts that can be found along the way. For love given sweet and free, for the peace of the morning and the warm colors of the sunset, for the grace of companions, and moments of ongoing birth as our hearts are renewed, and for those who have offered us the gift of mothering, no matter their age or gender. Those who have tended and cared, who have offered support and comfort, who have stood by and stood with us. Those who have given us life by birth or by their presence in our lives. Recognizing the grief that may come with such memories, let us open in compassion for broken hearts, for lost mothers, mothers who could not love us as we needed, mothers who abandoned us, and for those whose longing for children was never met. In the stillness of these moments together, I invite you to speak aloud the names of those who have given you life, who have companioned you, who are held in your heart this day. For these people and for so many others, may we be grateful. As you remain seated, I invite you to join in singing with me, number 402, From You I Receive. If you would like to, and if you have room around you, you can join me in some simple hand movements. If you need to rise and move a little bit to have room for hand movements, please feel free to do so. We're going to sing it through 3 times, and I will show you the hand movements as we begin. receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Thank you.
Today's reading, The Inherent Wholeness of Every Being by Erica Hewitt. We who are Unitarian Universalists not only affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, we also affirm the inherent wholeness of every being, despite apparent brokenness. No one reading these words is a stranger to pain or the knowledge that things break or break down. Promises, friendship, sobriety, hope, communication. This breaking happens because our human hearts and our very institutions are frail and imperfect. We make mistakes. Life is messy. Brokenness happens. We're intimately acquainted with brokenness then, even as we believe that no matter how fractured we are or once were, we can make whole people of ourselves. We are whole at our core because of the great, unimitable, sometimes inconceivable love in which we live. As UUs, we believe that paying attention to someone is an act of love. Witnessing and naming brokenness is how we began to heal. Some sorrows demand to be named out loud. My sister died. My body is fragile. I'm scared that I won't be able to pay my rent this month. The streets in my city are filled with violence. Healing begins when we examine what's in pain, wonder how it occurred, and allow it to teach us. In fact, sometimes the brokenness is immense, and the only grasp, the only power we have over that large and complicated pain looming over us is to bear witness, to tell its story, and to seek out companions and helpers who are willing to agree that yes, there is something breaking or messy in front of us, and we will not leave or even look away until repair has begun. If love begins with attention, repair takes the form of compassion, bearing witness, speaking out. Repair looks like connection, justice, or even revolution. It looks like after-school tutoring programs, community meals, and holding signs in front of City Hall. And it begins by placing full trust and faith that there is inherent wholeness in every broken situation.
It is, of course, Mother's Day here in the United States, and we know that the relationships we have or don't have or once had with mothers and with parents can be incredibly complicated. We will not pretend otherwise. We know this day can be one that is full of love and gratitude, and it can be one that is difficult and tender, maybe because of those complicated relationships, maybe because someone has wished to become a mother or a parent and has not been able to. So today we're going to look less at the specific kind of relationship and more at the idea of mothering energy. This gift of life that comes to us, often through other people, and which is part of helping us grow into the best version of ourself. This might also be thought of in line with midwifery, the practice of helping babies to be born. There are those in our lives who accompany us in ways that help us to bring forth that which is coming through us, whether it is the new life of another person or the truest life of who we are. Every person is engaged in bringing forth something that wants to come to life through each of us. Now, only you can do this, but there are these arts of companionship, of midwifery, of ministry, which are ways that people have figured out how to be with each other in these ways that lead to flourishing. This is not limited to female-identified people. It is not limited to people who resonate with words like ministry or midwifery. This kind of accompaniment is available to all of us. To give us an illustration of a particularly esoteric and nerdy way to get there, let us go down a rabbit hole into some Unitarian Universalist history and come at this from a totally different angle. Every May, I think about the Reverend William Ellery Channing. Anyone ever heard that name before? Couple hands, awesome. William Ellery Channing was a major figure in 19th century American Unitarianism. He grew up in Rhode Island in a Congregationalist church in the city of Newport. And Newport, at the time, had been founded by Baptists on a principle of religious freedom. It had within it Baptist, Congregationalist, Quaker, Independent, and Jewish houses of worship. It also had a large African American population, many of whom were enslaved and were not able to choose where to worship. They attended the congregations of their enslavers, but who also gathered to practice their own traditions, including funeral traditions. There were enslaved people in the Channing household who were leaders in the African American community. Two of them in particular, Duchess Quamino, who served as a nanny to young William, and Newport Gardner, who was enslaved in the household of William's uncle, taught him that integrity is the essence of religion, which laid the foundation not only for his later religious practice, but for his later embrace of the abolition of human enslavement. Young William had another formative experience in those years in Rhode Island. He went to church with his father, and a visiting minister preached a fire and brimstone, hell and damnation kind of sermon. And William was frightened. He looked at his father to see if his father was frightened, and his father said, "Sound doctrine, that." And William was like, "Oh no, okay, I guess when we go home, we had better fall on our knees and pray for deliverance from this impending doom." But instead they went home, and the family ate their usual meal. His father sat down by the fire, he puffed his pipe, he read his newspaper. William concluded that he should not take so seriously what people said, but study their behavior to see what they really meant. He went on to study at Harvard University and to become a minister in 1802, and soon William was part of the evolving theological movement that ultimately would distinguish Unitarianism from Congregationalism. Now, when the term Unitarian first began to be used, it was used as an insult. There were heated debates among the clergy of the greater Boston area, and from 1805 to 1815, these debates took the form of what were called the pamphlet wars. We would call it a flame war today. But at the time, there being no internet, you had to write down all your sick burns and publish it on paper and distribute it. On the Calvinist side of the debate, there were people who believed that human beings were inherently depraved, always prone to do the wrong thing, selfish, sinful, likely to go to hell. On the Congregationalist side, there were religious liberals, not politically liberal necessarily, but liberal in the sense of open to all kinds of interpretations, who said, well, I don't know, I'm a lot more optimistic about human nature and human potential. And then even further to the liberal side, or so the pamphlets alleged, There were people who were so liberal they did not even believe in the divinity of Jesus. Not Trinitarians, but Unitarians. Yeah, right? So on May 5th, 1819, the Reverend William Ellery Channing was invited to travel to Baltimore, Maryland, to preach the ordination sermon for Jared Sparks. And he chose the topic, American Unitarianism. He spoke for 90 minutes, just for the sermon, 90 minutes. He described the use of human reason to interpret Scripture. He went ahead and claimed the name Unitarian. He articulated his reasons for believing not in a Trinity, but in one God and one distinct person, a spiritual teacher named Jesus. Channing said that he understood God as a being of infinite goodness, infinite justice, infinite mercy, and that those qualities dance together because compassion without virtue leads to forgiveness without any reflection. Mercy, which also holds justice, desires the ultimate happiness and healing of all involved, including the guilty after a time of penitence and repair. In other words, Channing's understanding of God is one that brings together all the different qualities that are needed to live in and to return to right and good relationships with each other. And when Channing spoke about the rule of Jesus, because this was a Unitarian Christianity he was articulating, he said it matters that Jesus is understood as an exemplary human being, because this, too, is a way to teach how we all might live. The example of Jesus' life is an example of good human living, and this is still the way Transylvanian Unitarians understand the life of Jesus to this very day. Now, it is said that the acoustics in the Baltimore church were not very good. And this is 1819, so there's no amplified sound, right? The acoustics of the room have to do all the work. So we may imagine hundreds of people sitting in respectful silence for 90 minutes, not really understanding the sermon. And perhaps this is why, when Channing's manuscript was printed up for sale as part of the pamphlet wars, it sold tens of thousands of copies. Probably those hundreds of people in Baltimore started out by buying a pamphlet so they could know what they had just been listening to for 90 minutes. Channing was then invited in 1828 to preach again at an ordination of F.A. Farley, this time a sermon titled Likeness to God. So the Calvinist belief at the time was that humans were inherently depraved. They had to be threatened and frightened into good behavior. If people didn't fear consequences, who knew what they might do? And Channing said, no. The point of being human is to grow in likeness to God. All those qualities we ascribe to God, love and justice and mercy, we have them in us. That's how we know about them. How could we know about something we don't feel and experience? And so, we can grow in likeness, in similarity, in manifestation of these qualities. And that is the point of the religious life. This sermon was also the first public act of advocacy for revelation through the use of human reason, as well as through the study of Scripture, among these traditions that grew out of European Christianity. It was revolutionary in multiple ways. But it's hard sometimes now to explain how radical this was at the time. When people heard Channing say, men, by which of course he actually meant all people, are to be quickened and raised by appeals to their highest principles. Even the convicts of a prison may be touched by kindness, generosity, and especially by a tone, look, and address expressing hope and respect for their nature. He said, "I know that the doctrine of ages has been that terror, restraint, and bondage are the chief safeguards of human virtue and peace. But we have begun to learn that affection, confidence, respect, and freedom are mightier as well as nobler agents. People can be wrought upon by generous influences." Now, in case you were wondering, Channing was a capital U Unitarian, having coined and claimed that name. This was before our denominations merged, so he was a small u Universalist, believing that the great love that holds us all would ultimately claim all of us. He was part of the long conversation between our theological ancestors, which would not lead to our merger for another 150 years. My friend and teacher, the Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk, who was interviewed last spring before our General Assembly was held in Baltimore, said this: "It's funny, because now when we talk about love being at the center of what we do, we lean heavily on the Universalist side of our heritage, but I think we can pull equally on our Unitarian side. Because how else do you talk about humanity's relationship to the divine? If you are made in the image of that which is ultimate love, then the divine spark in each of us is love." All this speaks to me of mothering energy, the kind of nurturing that helps us be the best version of ourselves. The kind that helps each person find their own potential, bring forth their own gifts, share their own wisdom, often hard-won, in ways that do not impose "you should" upon others, but instead create more and more occasions for this flourishing. And if you, like me, are a fan of Call the Midwife, you might bring Sister Julienne to mind, a character who is a fictional Anglican nun, but who knows much about bringing a compassionate presence to situations of fear, of loss, of uncertainty, in ways that help people bring forth their best selves and become who they are needed to be. So let me ask you today, what is coming forth in you in these times? What peace of goodness, of mercy, of justice, of love can you find in yourself that is growing, that is flourishing, that is a little bit more of what the world needs? Can you make room for what is being born into our shared life from your goodness? This is a gift. It comes from and through each and every one of us. And it is what our world needs. May we bring forth our gifts. May we live into our truest selves. May it be so.
So now it's time to bring forth our gifts. We give and support the UUCS through our pledges, time, and connections with one another. We support the Salem community through donations to the Marion Bulk Food Share. Please provide offerings as you're able through the Little Red Wagon, offertory bags, or the website. Thank you for all you do in helping provide the world. Support this congregation.
And let me just add one small logistical detail, which is that if you are placing a payment toward your pledge toward our operating budget in the offering bag, if it is a check, please write pledge in the memo line. And if it is cash, please put it in an envelope with your name on it. We are not omniscient. We do not know where the cash comes from. So just a reminder that in order to attribute your pledge payments correctly, please label them to help us do that. Thank you.
Please join me in saying the words for giving thanks. They're printed in your order of service or to the
Work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our many gifts, including these offerings.
Now it's time to light the social justice lantern and release the flames.
Stand by.
We take the light from our chalice, lighting the social justice lantern as a symbolic reminder of the light and justice we carry out into the world. And as we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may its lingering spark be carried in your heart until we are together again.
As always, you can find announcements on the back of your order of service. Hopefully you are receiving our Friday update email. If you're not, you can stop by to be sure you're added to that list, either by finding someone from our greeter team at the welcome table or by enjoying our now Sunday morning office hours. Megan will be in our office following the service. She's waving. Those are great ways to get connected to things that are going on. Today, we have the first of our 2 sessions of UU History and Identity. So if you like that rabbit hole about William Ellery Channing during the sermon, you can stick around for that. Or if this Sunday and next Sunday are not good for you, we will look for some dates in the fall to offer a UU History, Theology, Identity class session again. I love to spill the tea about our UU ancestors, so we will do another round of this. But if you're able to stay today and join in, we'll have our inaugural offering this afternoon. Take a look at the things that are going on. Mark your calendar with some save the dates. Primarily that on June 14th, we will have the annual meeting of this congregation. We need a quorum of voting members to come to that meeting so we can elect people to our board and leadership positions and adopt our budget for the coming fiscal year. Super exciting stuff. And part of the practice of how we govern ourselves democratically. So mark that June 14th date on your calendar if you are able to plan to be here then, and take a look at the other upcoming items. And now I invite you to rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our closing hymn, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be, and when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, 'twill be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be, and when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, 'twill be our delight, till by turning we come round right." Thank you to those of you who literally turned.
As you remain standing, I invite you to join me in saying our closing words, which are printed in your order of service, or you can see them on the screen. Please join hands with those near you, or touch elbows, or gesture as you're comfortable.
May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.
It was very special.